Ladies and gentlemen, the 10th year anniversary patch notes, event sales, etc. are all live. There is an absolute mountain of data and information to get through, and I do not have time to go through everything in this video, so please keep it locked on this channel to find out everything you need to know about the 10-year anniversary, all of the selector guides, all of the purchasing guides, everything we're going to be covering on this channel in the coming days and weeks and maybe even months, because there's just so much to get through. So do not miss that. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We will be live tonight, by the way, at 4 a.m. approximately 19 hours after the drop of this video, 4 a.m. Eastern time. I will be live here on YouTube to dive into this brand new update, the 10-year anniversary kickoff celebration. And it's going to be it's going to be probably the biggest update ever. So you do not want to miss it. Now, what are we going to be getting in the update? Let's go ahead and jump in and find out. We're getting US Agent as a brand new character. He's a combat hero. He is available through regular premium means like the 30 biometrics daily and the premium hero chest, but he'll also be given away for free like Leader was in the timeline event quest. Now, if you didn't enjoy that game mode enough because you thought it was too difficult, stay tuned because they've made adjustments. He's also going to be available from another event on May 20th called the Thunderbolts event quest. So you'll actually have not one, but two chances to unlock him for free. He's got a very nice Thunderbolts leadership with 30% attack and 40% HP to Thunderbolts allies, which includes Sentry, Red Guardian, and Yelena for now. Probably we're going to see that tag added to Taskmaster, Ghost, and Winter Soldier, possibly more characters. His other passives, pretty nice. He reduces his additional pierce damage taken by 50%, and he also has 30% damage reduction, so lots of damage reduction. He has a heal when he drops below 30% that pops. He's got basic defense, skill damage, bonus damage, and ignore dodge. So definitely leaning towards a sort of PvP support lead, kind of hybrid, with that leadership for Thunderbolts, and then a bunch of tankiness for PvP. Now, he doesn't have iframe ignore, which is the big one that we're missing, but he does have a heal with frenzy buff. He does have invincibility with a damage proc. He has a barrier. He has incapacitation and other effect, and he has a 30% heal here. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think he's quite up to snuff, but of course, as we know, tier 4s don't, tier 3s don't mingle really with tier 4s, and he is a tier 3, so he only had so far to go from the get-go. Now, the three new uniforms that we're getting are all going to be discounted 50% off. We have Yelena, Red Guardian, and Sentry. So let's just dive right in. Yelena is a hero here still. She has the agility and agent tag as well as the Thunderbolts tag. So she's not losing any tags, she's just gaining a tag to the Thunderbolts. Her uniform effect gives her 30% chain hit, 20% ignore dodge, and then 30% damage reduction. I believe they're doubling her damage reduction. It really depends on which uniform you're looking at, but if I'm looking at the PvP uniform here in game, they're doubling her damage reduction from 15 to 30. They're improving the ignore dodge, and then the chain hit is new. But again, if you look at the other uniform, the chain hit isn't new, but they're sort of essentially combining them. So again, it depends on which uniform you're looking for. But if you're looking at the PvE uniform, they're actually just keeping her chain hit the same at 30%. But it's sort of, again, it depends. I'm going to be, from now on, only looking at the PvP uniform, because otherwise this is going to take too long and be way too confusing. They're bumping up her guaranteed dodge by a little bit. They're bumping up the skill damage bonus damage by a little bit. They're keeping the ignore targeting, but they're moving it from her first skill to her second skill. And this is nice because then they're also putting in the penetration. Now, the issue with Yelena with the PvP stuff is that she didn't have penetration on her first skill. She had penetration on maybe none of her skills. I think actually none of them. So this is a big deal. They're adding penetration while keeping the iframe ignore, and then adding it to the second skill. In general, skills do more damage if you go up from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. So this is nice. But the second skill in this case, it has an 8-second cooldown. So she's going to be able to spam this every 4 seconds, which means she'll have basically a permanent 100% 100% uptime on 40% chance to penetrate. It's a low chance to penetrate for sure. She's going to need a lot of hits, and it doesn't have cleanse or healing on the second skill, so it's not quite at the tippity top of iframe ignore skills like Sentry and Null and Adam Warlock, but it's still pretty good. She has accumulation now on her third skill, which is quite nice. Again, It got moved from her 5th skill, but it does get increased from 0.8 to 1%. And then she has invisibility with 7-second duration. Ignore targeting. It's not iframe ignore. It just means that she'll be invisible unless they have iframe ignore. That's all that means. And then a frenzy buff there. And then she has a 30% heal on her 5th skill with invincibility and a damage proc. She also has burn, paralysis, and silence, and shock. So she has 4 of the 6 ABL, ABX skills. She's just missing fracture and snare, but you can get that from the tier 4 striker. So we may be looking at a hybrid Yelena, which is quite spicy considering the value you're going to get there. And then for Red Guardian, I don't think a lot of people are expecting really big things of him. I honestly was a little bit unimpressed by his uniform, particularly because they're giving him a tier 4. But yeah, he has strong agility and then thunderbolts, so he does have some nice ability tags. His uniform effect, they're increasing his damage reduction 25%. Yeah, they're increasing it by 5%, and then they're giving him a little bit of a ignore enemy damage decrease, which is ignoring the decrease of other enemies in PvP if they have built into their kit, or they have like a CTP of authority or something like that. They are giving him a heal. He pops a heal when he's below 35. He basically heals back up to full, but it's on a 2.5 minute cooldown, so it's not gonna pop more than once. The big thing I think is his leadership. They're bumping it from 35 to 55% HP for hero allies, which is pretty nuts. And then his tier 2 passive is pretty much the same. They're just bumping the skill damage bonus damage. They're increasing the number of hits, or sorry, the damage, which may be the number of hits or just the damage scaling of his tier 3 ability, or his awaken ability, his transcendent ability, his transcendent skill. That's pretty cool. They're adding in a barrier to his 2nd skill, which wasn't there before, which is nice. The accumulation, they're bumping up from 0.7 to 1%. And it's not, I think it's still of pure damage accumulated. Yeah, it's still when attacking. It's not like damage taken. And then he's got 8 seconds of immunity, so they're actually bumping it up by 1 second. And then they're giving him this frenzy buff that he didn't have before, I believe, or maybe it was moved from his 5th skill. And then they're giving him a new frenzy buff for sure. And then they're giving him that 30% heal. They're keeping the 75% chance to penetrate, so he has a very, very high chance to penetrate with 75% ignore dodge, which is nice. But he just doesn't have iframe ignore, so it's going to be a little bit sketchy, a little bit touch and go. And then Sentry here, this is the big one that a lot of people were expecting. Sentry is, he's getting a big uniform here. He's remaining a hero, and he's still universal. He's got leadership and energy projection, so they did not give him the... This is a little bit weird. They did not give him the Thunderbolts tag, but they took away the Dark Avengers tag. Not that you were really using the Dark Avengers tag, but it's very rare to see a character lose a tag and not gain a new ability tag. So that's for Sentry. The additional pierce damage on his uniform is the same. The ignore enemy damage decrease was bumped up by 5%, and then I believe the skill damage bonus damage is brand new. I believe he did not have this before, so this is just a brand new buff to scale him. And if you guys don't know, skill damage bonus damage does do a lot, so that should be interesting to see how much harder he hits. His leadership is the same as before. That's okay. His tier 2 passive with a 25% chain hit is the same. The 50% all defense with the super armor is the same. And then they bumped up his damage reduction by just 5%. Normally, I would be, bemoaning a 5% increase here and there, but Sentry was already near the tippy top of PvP, so he doesn't necessarily need drastic changes, but still, they went with some drastic changes. So his 2nd skill, which is his bread and butter iframe ignore skill, destruction skill, obliteration skill, they did buff this. So they buffed it because they bumped the HP heal from 20% to 30%. They kept the cooldown at 8 seconds, so you can spam it. He still has the 80% chance to penetrate for 6 seconds, but now instead of 4 seconds of immunity, he has 5 seconds of invincibility, which is better because it gives him super armor. And then he has 4 seconds of debuff cleanse instead of 2 seconds. So essentially, he'll be able to spam debuff cleanse the entire match, and he won't necessarily need a debuff cleanse lead. I mean, he may still need a debuff cleanse lead because of incapacitation, but he may not. So this doesn't seem like a lot, but for PvP heads, this is pretty huge. Also, for what it's worth, the scaling changed from 70% energy damage to 120%. Now, this is a bit of a... It can be a red herring because if they reduce the number of hits by 50%, but they increase the damage by 50%, it's going to be a bit of a wash. It can be better or worse depending on ignore dodge and how that factors in, but we'll have to wait and see. I still think it is a good change, though, and I do think it is still a buff. He keeps his accumulation, and it's got a 14-second cooldown as before with a 10-second duration. He's got a 25% energy attack buff here with a 15-hit barrier, which is the same as before. And then on his 5th skill, he has a 40% HP heal, which is the same with a frenzy buff. And then they moved because they moved the invincibility from 5 to 2, they moved the immunity from 2 to 5. So now 5 has the immunity instead of the invincibility. And then they didn't mention Reborn Sun, which is his 4-star passive, but presumably that's the same, which is an 80% heal, like heal back up revive when he dies. So yeah, I think he looks pretty good. Then we have Yelena. Obviously, we're going to test in-game tonight at 4 a.m. Eastern time. Do not miss the live stream. Then we have Yelena. Yelena's getting her tier 4, increases basic attack by 100% and increased damage dealt to enemies with 50% HP or lower by 60%. Pretty nice. I actually do enjoy the thematic situation here between Red Guardian and Yelena, where she deals more damage to enemies with 50% or lower, and he deals more damage with his tier 4 to enemies with 40% HP or higher. So he sort of like gets them the first way there, and then she finishes them off. So that's kind of cool, and they have very similar because it's both attack. His is just a little bit worse than hers, but they both have pretty good tier 4 buffs. They're decent. It's kind of more cute and thematic. U.S. Agent's getting his tier 3 that has accumulation, so he should hit a lot harder when you pop his tier 3. We'll see how often he charges his tier 3. That's going to be kind of the big deal here. If he can charge it every other rotation, then he should be quite strong. We have the Awakening for Richard Rider, Dick Rider Nova, and Phyla-Vell. Looks pretty cool. A lot of blue and yellow. Pretty blasting. And now we get to the new content. So we have a new game mode, Team Battle Arena. We talked about this in a video about 18 months ago, and thankfully the devs decided to heed their own advice because it's from one of their own games. But basically, you set a team. You set 5 teams of 3. And it has most of the same trappings as Timeline Battle, where you progress through the ranks from bronze up to challenger. Challenger is top 50, yada, yada, yada. It's going to be on a 14-day schedule rather than a 7-day schedule, but it's still going to reset on Thursday, which is, well, Thursday for people in the, North America and in South America. But it's going to be the same reset as the weekly reset, where Timeline Battle and Shadowland reset. It's going to be that same reset, just once, only twice a month instead of 4 times a month. So it's going to reset every other week, but on that same time there. And then the first season, because it's a bit short, it's only going to be 11 days. And basically the way that it works is you set 5 teams of 3. So you're going to need to expand your PvP roster and your development if you want to enjoy this game mode to the fullest and sort of reap all of the benefits and dominate this game mode. And then you can hide one of the teams so that you cannot see, so that the enemy cannot see who they are. And so when you queue up to fight another team, you'll be able to see 4 of their teams, but not the one that they hide. And then you can readjust the order with these little buttons. You can readjust the order of your teams to better match up against the enemy team. So if you see an enemy team has a bunch of villains and you have a team with a bunch of heroes and buffs against villains, maybe you move that team up. Or if you have a team that, ignores buffs because of Molecule Man lead, then you want to move that one up to counter their buff team, etc., etc. So it's a really cool kind of interplay. The gameplay, from what I understand it, is just autoplay. So it's just like Conquest in the fact that it's 3 versus 3 and you're battling it out. It consists of 5 rounds, and the way that it's scored, it's the first 2-3 battles. So it's best 3 out of 5. And then they also look at the number of surviving heroes, the remaining HP of surviving heroes. And then in the case of everything being a draw, then the defending team will win. So that is how you score points. You get a win streak bonus for getting multiple wins in a row. And then you get these tokens in addition to some other weekly rewards like crystals for completing it. And then the lore behind this game mode is that the Grandmaster has dragged you into the Cosmic Game Room to battle it out for supremacy. Now you can see here it has a shop where you can exchange tokens just like Otherworld Battle, just like Zombie Survival, just like Shadowland. And the token shop is quite juicy. You have a monthly CTP. You have a double monthly limit on Carbonadium and Soul of the Faltine and Life Seed. So you can pick up 600 tier 4 materials from a new shop monthly. And then we also have a new addition here, the Team Up Collection Token Chest. It's got a daily limit of 1, so you can't necessarily spam this in one day. You're going to have to go back day after day. But if it has a large number of tokens, like, 20, it may be very worthwhile for players to hit up, because this is a brand new way of farming team up collection tokens that we don't have in the game yet. So I'm very excited. And as you can see, there's also weekly crystals, so everyone gets more crystals weekly, which is a massive W. I'm really excited for that game mode. I look forward to theory crafting and sort of building the best teams and watching as the meta kind of shifts. We're going to see changes, upgrades to Alliance Conquest. So they're going to be removing some items. Oh, Bacon's really excited about Conquest. They're going to be excluding some items from some of the chests in Conquest for the normal league and for the Challenger League. So this affects basically all Conquest enjoyers. They're going to be removing some of the less popular, less enjoyable, less rare rewards, and then they're going to be increasing the acquisition rate of tier 3 and tier 4 materials. So this should just make your rewards and conquest at the end when you get the contribution chest more consistent, better, more satisfying, which is good, which is very, very good. Reward buffs are really important for a game mode that you have to commit so much time to. And then they're going to be reducing the region protection time that they talked about on the live stream from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, which is good because it kind of speeds up the hour a little bit. You'll also be able to see the name of the alliance member who is attacking a region, so no more shadow sniping, no more BSing, oh, it wasn't me, haha. If you kind of lose a match, or if you get stuck in a match and you're like, oh man, it took you a minute and a half to kill that guy's team, everyone in your alliance will know who plays Conquest, and they'll be able to chide you appropriately. And then you'll be able to see the reward list at the bottom of the Alliance Conquest map instead of having to go back to the main page. Now, the big thing is going to be the 10-year anniversary gifts. Unfortunately, I can't cover this in full detail during this video because it would stretch to hours and hours, but right after the maintenance is over, so tonight at 4 a.m. when you wake up or when you take a break from work or school or whatever and you log into the game and you download the update, you jump onto the live stream where we're downloading the update and we're all hype, you're going to be able to pick up the tier 4 selector right away. So the tier 4 selector is going to be available right after the maintenance all the way until June 3rd. So if for whatever reason you don't want to play the game now, you have until June 3rd or June 2nd, I would say, to get the tier 4 selector as well as a uniform ticket and 10 million gold. So you can just boom, pick those up right away starting tonight at 4 p.m. Eastern after the maintenance is over. Which we'll be doing live on stream. So very excited. I will be releasing shortly a tier 4 selector ranking guide for players to speculate over and sort of talk about. They have a new comic card coming out to celebrate the 10-year anniversary. This is just a one-off comic card. It's going to be a one-of-one collection bonus. It's going to give you 1% max HP. This is not a very good card to use, so it's just for collection purposes. So again, just log in. You have 2 weeks until the 13th of May to get it, and then you get 1% max HP added to your account permanently as a buff. And then you can re-roll this card or keep it around if you like it for nostalgia purposes. We have the new artifacts, which honestly were kind of underwhelming. They're all kind of bad. Yelena's is quite bad. The only one that's honestly good is Richard Rider because it's a support artifact. So it applies to all allies, and it increases damage dealt to heroes and villains. Everything else is kind of lame. Yeah, I was a bit surprised personally. We have the 10-year anniversary future pass. They've buffed the future pass specifically for the tier 3 for the 10-year anniversary. So this is not going to be the normal pass moving forward. It's just for this update, but they've basically they've doubled or 50% increased all of the materials that you get. So big juicy materials here, 150 CCF from the free track. The free track also gives you a tier 3 selector and a new sentry power saving mode. So be sure to play the game over the month to get enough battle pass points to collect all that stuff. And then the legendary pass and the mythic pass, which cost money, which I usually don't talk about. I'm just mentioning them because they have increased rewards, including a tier 4 ticket. Now, the tier 4 ticket does not do the whole tier 4ing for you. It just saves you the 10 books and the final step at the advancement page. It doesn't save you the gears or the skill cost, but it's still not bad for players who were constantly purchasing these these future passes. And then these are the new icons that we get, and then we have the new hot deals coming, and then there's a bunch of quality of life stuff. So the big quality of life one that people are probably the only thing that people are contentious about is the story mode fragments. They're combining the fragments into just one chest with 9 pieces. So they're basically reducing the number of fragments by more than 50%. They're taking like 12 fragments out of the game, which means that you will be able to save 10 to 12 inventory slots, depending on whether you are farming all of the story mode fragments. You'll be able to convert your fragments, your story mode fragments, into these new ones, and then you can use on this chest. And the chest will remain the same, except they're removing the level 1 to 6 type enhancement tickets. So these will no longer be farmable from this game mode, and for the time being, they won't be farmable anywhere unless you gamble for them. Or I guess you can't gamble for them. I guess you would buy them from packs, or you could gamble for type enhancement kits, but that's horrible. Anyways, those are gone now, so it is a bit of a bummer because they were quite nice to get the type enhancement tickets. I was able to bring, you know, every character on my roster up to level 4 enhancement just by default, just by spamming tickets, because you just had so much, you accumulated so many. This is kind of a benefit for players who were playing for the last 4 years. And it's basically just a bit of an L for players who are just coming to the game now. But it is what it is. I'm not really going to cry over spilt milk. This wasn't that good. Like, it was good, but it wasn't that good. And people got to a point where they had so many tickets that they complained that they were taking spots in their inventory because you can't sell them. And they basically, I think you can, maybe you can sell them. You can sell them, but they're not worth anything. Like, you can see here I have 400 of the 1-star tickets. Yeah, it's just, it's okay. It is what it is. But the acquisition rate for the other items will remain the same. So we're not getting a buff to the drop rates for CTPs, Odin Blessings, and premium cards, but it's all just going to be in one chest now. I think this is fine. This is mostly just to streamline the content and also to make it easier for players to newer players to understand, and then improve your inventory situation. They're also going to let you manually rotate the camera in a bunch of different game modes, which I think is really cool. I can't wait to rotate the camera in Giant Boss Raid. I know it might seem like nothing, but I just think it's a cool feature, and it's interesting, and it's going to allow people to like take interesting screenshots, and it just makes the game feel more interactive. So I kind of like that. Probably the biggest update ever in terms of like a piece of news in patch notes. Maybe not ever, but in a long time. I know the Reddit people are freaking out about this. 30 uniforms will now cost gold. So if you had any intention of buying these uniforms for crystals, you will not have to do that anymore. You'll be able to buy them for gold. And of course, there's going to be someone in the comments saying, "Oh no, but I just bought Falcon Marvel Legacy." Well, tough cookie, baby. But yeah, they're all going to be for sale for gold. So you basically can get them all for free. So every account's going to start with an extra 30 uniforms for free that they can use to play these characters, so that they can use to, build up their optional uniform collection, etc. This is really nice. Hidden in this gem, which is already a huge gem, is the fact that they're giving away the Hela uniform for free. What that means, because the Hela uniform is the Ragnarok uniform from the first legendary battle, it means that every brand new player is going to be able to pick up this uniform for gold and then build it up to heroic, and then get a free CTP of energy. So ipso facto, they're giving everyone in the game a free CTP of energy who didn't already have it collected from the legendary battle. So that's really, really nice. So this is like a massive, 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 massive W. Also, Rip Nightcrawler, both of his uniforms cost gold. What a struggle he's been on. Huge change as well. They're going to be changing seasonal uniforms. This may only be for the 10-year anniversary. This may be for every anniversary moving forward. But they're going to be introducing seasonal uniform tickets, which are going, from what I understand, they're going to allow you to purchase seasonal uniforms outside of their season. So this is massive, and it makes me a little bit annoyed because I just did the uniform buying guide, and I put all the seasonal uniforms in, like, you can't buy them right now, but apparently you can buy them right now. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see exactly how this works and how you get this. I don't think they're going to give away the seasonal uniform tickets for free. It says that they're going to be on sale as a product, so you're going to have to buy them anyway. So this is not a way for free-to-play players to get seasonal uniform tickets for now, or seasonal uniforms. But it is really nice for spending players who just missed it, so that they can pick up maybe, Farmer Thanos or Coulson or Satana or something like that. This is a massive, massive W. Should boost the sales sales should make players happier. I think this is a really good idea, and I will have to update a video when this launches to re-rank all of the seasonal uniforms. So don't worry, I will do that so that you can get, you can pick up all the best seasonal uniforms like Ghost Rider, etc. So that's really cool. They've also added, finally, the quality of life feature where you can auto clear, you can accelerated clear a bunch of the auto content from the content status board. So we've asked about this for a long time, but basically you can clear stages in the mission tab that can be auto cleared without having to enter each stage individually and click auto and click OK and watch it spam and then go back and then click in and then click auto and then click OK and then watch it spam and then click back and then click in and then click auto and then click OK and then watch it spam. You don't have to do it anymore. Huge, massive W. Gonna put years back on these fingers that have had to press this shit millions of times. They're also just giving everyone 50 inventory slots. Massive W. If I seem exhausted, it's because there's just too many W's. It's just wave upon wave of W's, and I'm just exhausted. They're adding Shadowland auto progress for free from up to floor 25. It was previously 415, so you're going to be able to auto play Shadowland up to 25 every week for free. Again, massive W. They're increasing the minimum recommended specifications for MFF for the iOS people. They're buffing the returning agent support benefits, and they're also going to be buffing the existing returning agent support benefits of agents who are already enjoying it. So if you are a returning agent and you have certain buffs and you download the patch, you will gain the unclaimed progress from the previous agent missions. It will be sent to your inbox, and then you will be able to start the new track of returning agent buffs and rewards. So this is, again, a massive, say it with me now, W. The web shop can be accessed in-game. They have changed something about the guided quest trial uniforms. They've made ranked battle less difficult. I kind of think this was unnecessary, but okay. But yeah, they've just made ranked battle a lot easier, it seems. You can dodge some of the boss's attacks. The boss has longer cooldown on the attacks. There's new camera effects to indicate when the boss is going to do attacks. You get more bonus points, and the target score is lowered from 1.5 million. So yeah, they just made it easier. And then they're also, remember we talked about timeline quests where you can unlock free US agent. They're reducing the recharge time for the tickets from 90 minutes to 60 minutes. So you'll be able to get more tickets, so you'll be able to progress through the timeline quest faster to gobble up all the rewards. Again, huge, massive W. I actually like this one. And then they did some game error fixes, and most of these are worth glossing over except for number 4. The buff, the Odin's Might buff in Alliance Battle Legend, not being applied or not being collected when it overlapped with certain heroes' fast movement skills, has been fixed. So this is most important for Loki, who during his 4th skill, where he's kind of like teleporting around, if you bumped into the Odin's Might, the purple orb, it would disappear, but it wouldn't collect, and it would essentially brick your run, and you would have to restart the run, because if you don't collect all of the Odin's Might, you don't get the 150% bonus that appears twice per round, per match. And so this is a massive W, huge, massive W for Alliance Battle Legend Dungeoneers who have been think over and over again, grinding their way to max scores. So yeah, this is insane. This is a 30-minute video on the patch notes. There was so much to get through, and I went as fast as I could. There's going to be so much more to dive into. This is a massive update. I'm very excited. They went way above and beyond my expectations. I did not think they were going to do all of these things. New game mode, gold uniforms, quality of life stuff, boom. I'm honestly a little shell-shocked. I'm a little like I need to take some time to realign my chakras, because I'm like vibrating on a different frequency right now. But yeah, guys, do not miss the live stream tonight, 4 a.m. Eastern time. It's going to be an absolute banger. There's going to be hundreds of people there, all in my head, all my split personalities, and it's going to be super fun. It's going to be super duper fun. I cannot wait. I'm really excited to dive in, and I will have a bunch more content. I'm about to go, as soon as I turn off the camera, I'm going to go turn it back on and record my reaction and my breakdown of all the sales, all the events, all the tokens, so that you can, squeeze the most juice out of this fruit. that they call the 10-year anniversary. So yeah, see you guys on the live stream tonight, 4 a.m. Eastern. Do not miss it here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support, guys. We made it 10 years. Absolutely crazy, nutty, bonkers. And I'll see you tonight. Take care.